probably won't go for nearly as much as that.
Unless someone can fit. That was sort of a tangent.
So technically savvy.
I know, yeah. You think after all this time, like, no,
Absolutely. Have we run out of material to talk about?
we can dance. I can't dance.
What's that?
6'4".
In the end.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was probably the hardest episode I've done on the series. That was and you guys should know the guy that played me when I wasn't playing me. They had actually gone through a casting process to see if they could find an actor to come and play. To come and play opposite me, and so I met with like 3 or 4 guys actually, and you know, just kind of rapped out with them, and we ended up going with this one guy, and showed up. And the first scene that we shot was where Future Dean pulls up with the Jeep and then shoots the guy in the face, and so that scene was shot first, and then I did it with this guy. He just couldn't. It just wasn't working, right? So we immediately, the producers were like, "It's not working. It's just not, you know, it's not getting what we want." And so I said, "Listen, why don't we just get the guy who next to me has played Dean Winchester more than anybody, which is Todd Scott, my stunt double." So Todd Scott, who is an amazing stunt guy, he's made me look like a badass since Dark Angel, actually. Who has never done on-camera lines or anything like that. I begged him, and he was like, "All right, man, but you know, I'm gonna warn you. I don't know what to expect." And I mean, this guy he sat there in my trailer and was like, took it so seriously, and was running lines with me, and we were talking like 8 pages of dialogue a day for like 3 or 4 days. It was just Dean on the call sheet, so it was just me and him. All the stuff in the cabin and stuff like that. It was just a mind boggle, because I'm so used to, as just like an actor, learning my lines. I think we've kind of fallen into the same just a routine, is that we learn our lines and then we get on set and the scene kind of comes together organically. You know, I react off of what he's doing, and he reacts off of what I'm doing, and that's just kind of where we find the nuances, as Kim Manners used to like always said. He was like, "All right, boys, find those nuances." And that's what we get. Generally, those happen while you're working on the scene, while the scene's happening. I didn't have that. So that crush that I've been using, I think it's not really a crush, it's just with Gone, it was really strange for me, because I had to then think about what I was going to do on that side of the camera, on that side of for Future Dean, and react accordingly as this Dean, but I hadn't done that yet. So then I had to, after that, I had to turn around, get dressed, and then remember what I had done, and then act accordingly. My brain was super. And I called Eric after that episode, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, just so you know, I'm phoning in the next 5 episodes." So
I can attest to the last day of last day of episode 3. I sort of like, I had 3 days off. I had a Friday and I had a Friday off. I was off like the first day of shooting, and so I like had a 3-day weekend. I'd been out in Los Angeles, so I come back and I'm like, "Hey, I'm ready to do like my Lucifer scene," and Jensen's kind of like, "Okay, he's a little stressed. I'm going to do my thing." Yeah,
but that Lucifer scene ended up being like one of my favorite scenes. Yeah, he works like 1 day and he comes away with like stealing the episode at the end. Sure. But
I love the twist.
And it was such a refreshing thing for me, because then all of a sudden, you know, I was working with him again. It was like, "Oh, finally, something normal." And it turned out to be, you know, really, really good scene.
It was fun seeing the lighting effects. That was one of my favorite episodes when I read it, and it was kind of like it reminded me so much of the Terminator movies, and just sort of I Am Legend. And I was like, "Oh, you get such a cool episode. It's so neat." My episode had like
And I was like,
plus
shoot me.
watching table. Yeah, by the end. But it was really, I think it was, now hopefully in hindsight it was worth it.
Yeah, it definitely was, you know, there was a nice sense of, job well done kind of thing. And you go, it's one of those, you finish it and it's like, whew, that was tough, but man, do I feel like I accomplished something good, so. Yeah.
This is the first season where I feel like, I mean, we're halfway through episode 12 right now. We're over the hump, which is episode 11. And I feel like it's just blended together. Like I remember the end, I remember the last two that aired, but beyond that, it's been a blur. I'm trying to think of what's been going on this year.
I have no idea. After the end, it's all wash.
How was it to work with Chad Everett? Did he give you hints about
Oh, yeah.
being an idol?
I wouldn't know.
Y'all met, what, twice?
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw each other on set, and he actually showed up a little early, and he didn't like follow me around, but he just kind of, you know, would watch me work. He watched me do a couple of scenes just so he could kind of get the mannerisms, and I didn't realize that I was so Clint Eastwood-like. Dude.
He had a great time. We all Chad Everett fans. He was great. I actually got to work with him. You did not. Did you have any scene with? No.
Why would I? And Chad, you know, Chad comes up to me, he's like, "No, man, I gotta tell you, when I read this, I'm like, oh, what a great opportunity for an actor, for you. You know, did you lobby for like doing the makeup and being an old man?" And I'm like, "Chad, I read this script and I was like, woohoo, 4 days off." That's the only thing I saw. There's no opportunity there for an actor.
I love the scene with him and Jim in the graveyard.
Yeah.
You got your hand up and you're being so polite.
Is Sam really still have bad blood in him because he always likes things?
I think he always will. I don't think we really touched on that too much, but I think he always will. And I mean, as we see, you know, I guess the future can be changed, but he was Lucifer, at least during the end. So that was supposed to be 5 years from now. So he's got to have something going on. And I think that was the idea, and that was sort of the arc last year. Is that sort of tainted blood isn't something that you can kind of exfoliate. All right, it's out of my system.
We're gonna get him into the 40.
For demon blood. You.
Do you think that Dean has ever told anybody that Sam tried to kill Strangle?
I doubt it. I doubt Dean's ever told anybody anything.
He's a closed book.
We have a really cool episode though coming up where we have to sort of infiltrate an insane asylum, and so we have to act insane. And so, but the funny thing is, acting insane is us being us. Sucked demon blood, and I killed. I started the apocalypse. I killed the demon.
Yeah, we just tell them the truth, and they're like, the doctors are going to want to keep you for observation. Okay.
We worked with a great actor, for those of you who know Napoleon Dynamite, John Grier played Uncle Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. He's really funny.
He's really good.
Yeah.
He plays an old hunter, like one of Dad's friends. And, yeah. Funny episode.
It's kind of bad. That was what, 10?
I don't know.
10 is huge. Did the girls and the guys give you all any sort of? We always do a big episode 10 because that's always the big cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It is. It's right.
10 is next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Colitis.
Hiatus. We call it hiatus.
I never heard that.
Get it?
I was like, is something in my arm? Some pills for that? It's like H1N1?